Zero. Okay, I'm live. I'm gonna go live now. Hello, 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 everyone. I hope all is well with everyone. Try to make sure all my lives are go. How's everybody doing? So, we're still working on all the technical difficulties, but we're going to get there, people. We are going to get there. Absolutely. So, thank you everyone for all your feedback. Just getting some really great feedback from everyone who is following and who's actually taking the 15 minutes aside to pause and really work on. I don't like the word work in this context. Well, it is work. It is work, but it is more about internal work. So it's true that you need to set aside the time to do the work, but it's not the type of work that is external. So it's not necessarily as the same connotation when we're talking about work. Because you know me, I'm all about being before doing, right? So the doing has to be in alignment, right, with your being. And so it's important to work on the being so that the doing can really manifest in the way that we want. So as we've been talking about, the first section of the book talks about the environment. And so we talked about how we are a product of our environment. And so important to take care of a product that we love, right? So, I mean, some of us, if we love cars, for example, we're going to take very good care of our car. We know how to do oil changes and all the maintenance stuff that has to be done with the car. But with ourselves, sometimes it's not thought about that way, but it's really important to make sure that you're doing your maintenance work for yourself, right? Not only for yourself, but also for the people that you're called to live life with, because they're worth it and you're worth it to have that best version of yourself every time. So, you're a product of your environment. So think of yourself as a product and that you really love and that you want to maintain and, cherish and keep for a long time. And then we talked about scooping the crap. So we talked about all of those things that attract flies, that I like to say. I like to say if you get, if there's a pile of poop out there, there's going to be flies on it. But if you remove the poop, then the flies are gone, right? And so this is the purpose, to really get at what is the why behind the why, behind the why, behind the why. Sometimes there's a lot of whys to go through in order to get at the root or the source of the symptom. And then we talked about the interaction between the external environment and the internal environment. That was yesterday. And so we mentioned, the whole aspect of temperature. I was saying how I love winter running. So one of the reasons why I love it is that contrast, between the hot and the cold. Or if you're in the summertime or in a hot country somewhere and you get into a place where there's AC, I mean, you see the difference right away, right? So we have to kind of have that thought process when it comes to our internal environment. And so the next section, which is section 2 of the book, is talking about your temperature. So we're going to go deeper into this whole concept of temperature. And so I'm going to do the reading, and then we'll see how much time we have. If I have a little time to gab, and then, we'll go into the challenge for today. I hope you've been, some of you have already spoken to me about how it's been really a blessing, and you were doing your challenges. And those of you that are in the community, then you're also using the worksheets. So again, you're so welcome to join. What I love about Discord, let's talk a little bit about the community. So I'm using Discord because Discord, I find, is, multi-generational. So whoever you are, if you're a riser, no matter what age you are, you're able to, you're often already on Discord if you're a millennial, or if you're a Gen X, or no, not Gen X, that's me, Gen Z, or Gen Y, or I don't know, all of those younger generations than me. I'm gonna be 50 next year. Whoop whoop. Anyway, so some of us in our generation, it's a bit weird, to use Discord, but it's actually a really great platform. And because, this type of work can be sort of vulnerable, and, if you want to keep anonymity, like, this is a perfect platform for that. So that's what I love about it. So some of the people that are in right now, I don't even know who they are, because, they're using pseudonyms and stuff like that. And I'm good with that. And so if, you're someone who, needs that anonymity, then definitely it's there for you. Okay, let's get right into the reading for today. You'll notice that pretty much each section has 3 reflections. Okay, so we did the first 3 days, and today we're beginning the section 2, and there's going to be the 3 reflections for section 2. All right, so a quote for the beginning of section 2, by Nido R. Corbin. I probably butchered that, but anyway, so sorry. Are you a thermometer or a thermostat? A thermometer only reflects the temperature of its environment, adjusting to situation, but a thermostat initiates action to change the temperature in its environment. Love that quote. All right, so reflection 4, your emotions as temperature. When dealing with people, remember you are not dealing with creatures of logic, but creatures of emotion. Dale Carnegie. Today I want to talk about the temperature of your internal environment. Just like a room has a temperature, our internal environment also has a temperature. And how do you get to understand the temperature? It is by becoming aware of your dominant emotion. So throughout the day, check in with yourself. Check to see what is the dominant emotion that you're experiencing. Is it fear? Is it doubt? Joy? Love? What is it? Be very aware of what that is. Maybe you can check in with yourself every hour or every noonday, whatever works for you. Have a practice of checking what temperature you're maintaining inwardly. One of my favorite personal development experts, Brandon Buchard, gives a great tip on how to check your temperature in his book, High Performance Habits. I highly recommend this book, by the way, if you haven't read it yet. I'm sure all of us personal development junkies know about this book. He suggests that we use our phone to create alarms for the different emotions that we want to cultivate. For example, you can use joy as an alarm at 9 a.m., peace at noon, love at 3 p.m., and so on, to remind yourself daily what temperature you want to maintain. Try it for a week or two. You'll also influence your external environment. Yes, I love that. And this is such a great tip because, a lot of the times we're not aware of our internal environment, the temperature, what emotion, what dominant emotion is there, because we're so used to what I call plagiarizing. And so we have these roles and responsibilities that we put on, and we sometimes neglect or don't prioritize our internal environments. And so we don't really know. And I just invite you to be very, very conscious, starting today to be in tune with that. Okay, so I love this tip with the phone. And I remember when I first started reading that book and I tried that tip, and I was working in an environment where people were very busy and there was so much going on. So it was interesting because I was putting in my alarms, and at some point, my coworkers were like, "Oh, what's what's the emotion right now?" So in this case, really, it's about cultivating that emotion that you want. Because even if you realize that, what, my dominant emotion right now is frustration, or my dominant emotion right now is like anger or sadness. If it's a negative emotion that's going on, it's good to acknowledge it, and then to do the why to get at the root of it. But it's also a good thing to like decide, what do I want, for this emotion, right? What is the contrary emotion that I want? And because what you focus on expands, and so you want to allow yourself the permission to, acknowledge where you are, but also decide where you want to be, right? And so I encourage you, and it doesn't have to take very long, and you'll see that as you move along, you'll be able to really adopt, that emotion that you actually want, but it starts with deciding how you feel about it. And we're going to talk the difference between emotion and feeling tomorrow, I believe. And so I don't have much time to go into that at the moment, but yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. So your challenge, basically, you want to try doing the phone thing, okay? So set your alarm for, 3 alarms, okay, on your phone for different times of the day, okay? And instead of saying, okay, I want this emotion, you want to at least acknowledge what emotion that you're feeling at the time that the alarm goes off. And you want to pause, write it down, at the moment that you're feeling. Like if it's at noon, you check and you're like, oh, this is what I'm feeling, write it down. And then you want to kind of reflect, a short reflection on, how this emotion is affecting you, either internally or externally. All right. And then share maybe, to yourself, one shift that you would like, even if you're not ready to do that shift today. Okay? So that's it for today. So we'll see you